I get this question all the time. If I had to start my online business again today from zero, what would I actually do? I mean, literally, step by step, in the order that I would do it. So that's exactly what this video is about. 5 steps in the order that I take them if I woke up tomorrow with nothing but a laptop and an idea. Let's get into it. The first step is reverse engineer a business that's already working. This rule is very simple. Don't invent an idea from scratch. Find a business that's already working in the space that you like and study it up close before you build anything of your own. I don't mean to copy it. I mean the opposite of the guess and hope approach that most beginners take. Pick one blog, one shop, one channel that's already doing well in your niche and treat it like a case study. For example, you can do all of this without ever meeting the person. 1. Subscribe to their email list and watch what they send. 2. Buy one of their products, even a cheap one, so you experience their whole process as a customer. 3. Study their pricing, what they charge and what is included at each tier. Notice which piece of content is driving their traffic and also pay attention to the content that barely gets seen. You're not stealing anything here. You're just getting months, sometimes years of someone else's trial and error just by paying attention to what they're doing. When I started on Pinterest, I used to follow and watch carefully what other accounts were doing in my niche. That is how I found out what was trending, what was getting more saves and engagements on their accounts. Step number 2, check demand and supply before you build something. Check whether you're walking into an empty space or a crowded one. There is a simple way to think about this. Any idea sits somewhere in 2 scales. How much demand there is for it and how much supply already exists to meet that demand. Low demand and low supply means nobody wants it and nobody is selling it. Skip it. High supply and low demand. This is a flooded market chasing people who are not buying. High supply and high demand means it's crowded, but there is still real money moving through it. And low supply with high demand is the sweet spot. People want it, and there isn't much competition solving it yet. This is actually where AI is useful before you've made a single thing. You can search the keywords, check how many people are already covering the exact angle that you are considering, and see how saturated it feels. 20 minutes of that can save you months of building something that nobody was missing in the first place. Now, when you are a business of one, you are the brand. Every photo, every thumbnail with your face on it is doing marketing work, whether you like it or not. Be honest with yourself for a second. What does your current profile photo actually look like? For a lot of us, it's a cropped vacation photo or something from years and one haircut ago. And that same one photo ends up everywhere. Your YouTube About page, your LinkedIn, your email signature, doing a job it was never really made for. But a proper studio headshot means booking a photographer, blocking out a morning, and paying a few $100s for it. So here is what I did instead. I uploaded a handful of selfies into Insta Headshots, who kindly sponsored this part of the video. They recommend here to use at least 2 waist-up and 8 close-up photos. You can upload them from your computer or from your phone using a QR code. They also have some photo requirements here. Like, you need to make sure that you have a variety of your photos in different settings. On these photos, you should look at the camera and use your recent photos. Personally, I just used a lot of screenshots of my close-ups from my own videos here on YouTube. Nothing fancy. I hit generate, and within minutes, it produces headshots in several different styles, from corporate to casual to creative, all from those same few selfies. And it wasn't just one lucky shot. I've got a handful that I could actually use, different styles, different vibes, and every single one of them still looked like me. The best part is that you don't pay to generate all these photos. You only pay for the ones that you actually love. And if none of them work for you, you don't pay a cent. So for example, I selected here 3 photos, and this package will cost me $59 or euros for me since I'm in Europe. It's just one-time payment. You are not subscribing for any monthly subscription. This isn't some small, unproven tool either. It's rated 5 out of 5 on Trustpilot across more than 14,000 reviews, and it's already used by over 400,000 professionals at companies like Google, Meta, and Harvard. Right now, you can also get 25% off, which might honestly be the best deal you will find anywhere for professional headshots. I'll drop my link and code below. Go generate yours and see for yourself. Now, step number 3, stop asking for the big yes before you've earned a small one. Think about how trust actually gets built with anyone. Nobody meets a stranger and immediately hands over a few $100s. There is a sequence. They notice you, they get a little curious, they check you out, and only then do they buy. The mistake a lot of beginners make is skipping straight from "nobody knows who I am" to "please buy my course." There is no bridge in between. And let me tell you what that bridge can look like. First, it's awareness. It's where someone sees one piece of your content for the first time. Then there is interest. They follow you or they download something small for free. Then there is evaluation. They read a few more posts, they watch a few more videos, and decide if they trust what you're saying. Then there is the small yes. A cheap product, a mini guide, something under $10 that costs almost nothing to say yes to. And then only there is the big yes. Only now does your full offer, your course, your main product actually make sense to them. If you skip straight to step 5, it's like asking someone to marry you on the first date. The next step is to price for the people who actually have money to spend, not for the loudest, most price-sensitive part of your audience. If you ask 100 random people in your audience whether they would pay for something, most of them will say no or that it's too expensive. And if you listen to that signal, you will keep lowering your price until you're basically working for free. But that signal is misleading. In any group of people, a small percentage have most of the actual buying power. So instead of designing your offer around the 90 people who say no, ask yourself 3 questions. What pain does my specific audience have that I actually know how to solve? What is the price, the outcome, the transformation that they get on the other side of it? Who in my audience can actually afford to pay well for that outcome? And the problem that you solve doesn't have to change. Who you are solving it for and how you price it for them absolutely needs to change. Now, the next step I want to suggest is work out the actual math behind your goal and then be honest about the one fear that's really stopping you. So quick math first. Say you want 100 sales this year of something priced at $100. If your offer converts at 2%, you need 5,000 people to see it over the year. Divide by 12, and that's around 400 people a month who need to see your offer. That number tells you exactly what your visibility needs to be doing, not just some vague "post more" message. Now, the fear part, because the math alone will not get you moving. You should write down the specific thing that you're actually afraid of, not just of starting a business generically, but the real sentence like, "Nobody will buy from me." And then next to it, write down what's actually likely to happen versus what you're imagining is the worst case scenario. Most of the time, the honest, likely outcome is far less dramatic than the fear in your head. The math tells you what to do here. If you zoom out from everything that I just walked you through, there is really one skill underneath all 5 steps, and it's this. An entrepreneur only needs to be excellent at 2 things. You decide what to build, and you finish it. When you study someone else's business, when you check demand and supply, that's the decide part. When you understand your numbers, when you price for the right person, that's the finish part, where the whole thing actually turns into money. Everything messy in the middle, you build the thing, you test it, you redo it 3 times because your first attempt wasn't quite right, that part has gotten dramatically cheaper and faster than it's ever been. And that's really the shift happening right now in 2026 specifically. It used to be that capital or a big team of employees was what allows you to build something, but that is just not the bottleneck anymore. The bottleneck now is, can you actually make the decision? What am I building and who is it actually for? And then stick with it long enough to see money change hands. Everything else in the middle, you can delegate it, automate it with AI, or figure it out as you go. And if the part that you're actually missing now is what AI can realistically do with that messy middle part, I made a full video on exactly that for you. It explains why I think that 99% of people still don't know the basics of AI. And it's linked for you up there. I'll see you in that next one.